You have probably received either late last week or early this week the message from the dean, Tom Doover, where he declared formally that all graduate courses at the Faculty of Engineering and Architectural Science in the fall term will be offered by online remote teaching due to a COVID pandemic. We had to wait on sort of a little bit longer to monitor instructions from the government and public health office to really make a sound decision. But now it's the time, it was the time to really declare it, because everyone, students, future students, current students, faculty members, and staff can start preparing. So in continuation of Dean's message, he says that we continue to take directions from public health authorities, local, provincial, and federal governments, and we are all dedicated to protect the health and safety of our students, staff, and faculty. And in addition to that, we are working hard to transition our courses to a virtual environment, ensuring that students will get the best possible learning experience. As far as research facilities are concerned, we are also working together with the Office of Environmental Health and Safety of Ryerson to establish protocols to ensure that all research facilities are approved to reopen and do so in a safe manner for all the professors, technical staff, and student researchers who are supposed to be there. So please discuss with your supervisors your research plan, access to labs, ability to work from distance or for some time, and other issues, because this opening will happen over the summer gradually. And although we are hoping that by the fall, all the labs, research labs, will be able to reopen and work under the particular protocols. You know, we don't know for sure, but definitely be in contact with your supervisors if you are a research student, and they will inform you on particular details and the schedule of using the labs, because that's what's probably going to happen. So what does this mean? Doing things remotely in the fall term. Many questions that we received so far. Does it mean that curriculum will be changing? You know, some students or some future students are really attracted to some programs because of the hands-on experience and so on, and or whether the curriculum will be eased up or watered down in order to be delivered online. And I'm here to wholeheartedly reassure you that that's not going to happen. Curriculum or curricula for vertical programs are not changing. We still have the same learning goals. We have the same learning outcomes that we want to achieve. The only mode of delivery will be changing, so the way how to get there will be changing. What that means also that we are here working and preparing for the highest standard of remote deliveries. So what does it mean? That all of us are planning, we have all summer to do so, and professors are taking courses, me including. I mean, this afternoon, actually, I'm starting the first workshop on how to plan for the remote course delivery, because it's not going to happen that you're going to have 3 hours of professor droning and moving slides online and everybody's falling asleep over there. Online or remote delivery of courses requires a completely different methodology, and we are all ready to reinvent our courses to make the best out of it and to make the most learning experience for you students. So that means also developing learning modules, engaging in innovative teaching methods, developing sessions for questions and answers and discussion sessions with students, online tutorials, teamworks, making sure that everyone enrolled has access to resources that they need to reach their learning goals, and also innovative ways of assessment of knowledge and reaching those goals. So really, it's not going to be sort of and I know that some people had a bad experience with the online teaching, and we really want to reassure you that this is not the case. Now, when we know that we have 3 months to prepare, we are working hard over the summer to do so. It's not that we're going to go anywhere for any vacation. So yes, this is very important to us. Another set of questions, and there were lots of them. Will tuition be changed due to the remote mode of delivery? And the short answer is no. Actually, remote courses delivery is more expensive than in-person teaching, you know, because it requires lots of preparation, lots of resources, and so on and so on. So there were, last week in the news, I read that some other universities in Ontario are considering increasing their tuition because of these additional costs that remote delivery requires. But I can reassure you that Ryerson is not one of them. We got assurance from the University Planning Office. So Ryerson will not increase nor decrease tuition because of the COVID situation and moving fall term to remote delivery mode. So that's one of the certain things that we know for sure. If you go on a tuition and fees website, you will see that over there, it's still what is posted is 2019 and 2020 tuitions and fees are posted. And this is because we still, the new ones are not announced because the budget is still being worked on by the University Planning Office, and we usually expect them sometimes in the end of June and early July. So the small changes are possible, which basically take into account, which happens every year anyway, takes into account inflation and so on. But you know what, there's not going to be significant decrease or increase due to a fall term delivery mode. So knowing all of this, what are your options? Well, I want to tell you that we are trying to present to you with various options and implications of these options and what does it mean in reality, both from the university point of view as well as your personal point of view. So we want you to think about it really and make a decision that is best for your circumstances. Definitely, it's not that one size fits all. There are many different issues that will affect your decision, and all we can do right now is to present you with all the options and hopefully help you to make a right decision that is right for you. So the first option, obviously, is accept the offer, start courses, and research remotely with the intention to join us in person in winter 2021. Because as we know, from this point of view, winter 2021 will be in person. That's what we are planning for. The other option will be to delay the start of your studies for winter 2021 term. And I'm not talking about deferral. Deferral is something else. This is basically just delaying the start of your studies. If you don't want or you think you cannot start online, you really want to start in person, you can delay your studies for winter and just join us in person then. Now you have to understand that some programs are unable to do this. So for example, graduate program in architecture, building science, computer networks, and Masters of Engineering, Innovation, and Entrepreneurships are not able to delay for one term because their courses are scheduled in a way or planned in a way that they build upon each other. So if you start, and they basically cannot, if you start in winter, you cannot, you're gonna miss the whole term, you cannot make up for it, and basically it's basically impossible because some of these courses in the fall term are prerequisites for winter course. But everybody else pretty much can do. So that's something to think about for everybody else. The other option is to delay start of your studies for spring summer. So basically 2 terms for spring summer 2021 term. And basically the same limitations apply as in a delay for winter. I'm talking about delay here and not deferral, because both winter 2021 and spring summer 2021 still belongs to this academic year, which means that overall admission goals, the budget, the scholarship budget, funding budgets, everything is allocated for this year. So moving 1 term or 2 terms, it's essentially not a big deal. It can easily be transferred. Now, if you want to defer or you have to defer for the whole year, so basically starting in September 2021, that's called deferral. And things are not so easy or straightforward because, as I said, there are implications on admission targets, domestic, international, budget, scholarship, and so on. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but there are some other hurdles that need to be taken care of and be mindful of, which I will come back to it later. So yeah, that's for deferral. You have to apply, and it's a program director's decision to basically allow it or not allow it, and there are implications on that. But delay pretty much can be done just by the program administrator if you express so, and the process is much faster because, again, it's the same academic year. Within that, we have flexibility to move things around, and it's not so difficult in most cases. And then finally, sadly, there's an option to decline offer altogether. So basically, either accept the offer at another university or decide not to go to grad school altogether. That would be very sad, and I hope not many of you will decide to do so. But we understand because the life circumstances are different for each person, and we need to be mindful of that. So what do you need to make this decision? Well, in addition to what will I explain today from the university point of view and some immigration point of view, you have to think about your personal circumstances. So, for example, I already mentioned in some programs, some disciplines, it's impossible to delay. You basically would be encouraged to start in the fall with remotely as much as you can, or basically defer or decline. Depends on your research and what type of research will you be doing for those research students. And here you have to really discuss with your potential supervisor because each project is different, each research methodology is different. Some of them require experimental work, but talk to your supervisor because every experimental work still includes the parts that can be done remotely: literature review, reading, learning new software, and so on. So it's not impossible, even if you're going to be doing experimental work, it's not impossible to start first term remotely. It depends on your financial situation, on your personal preference. Some people really just don't want to do remotely, but for some other students, we actually heard that they would prefer us to start remotely, and that would be their point of accepting the offer from Ryerson rather than one other. So again, different people have different preferences. It depends on your immigration and study permit status, and that's also beyond your control and our control as well. But it has to be dealt on case-to-case basis. Ability to travel, both from your own home country and what we have here in Ontario. Ability to ensure 14-day quarantine upon arrival, providing that measure is still on in August, because right now, we still have it. We don't know, maybe by the late August, it's not going to be an issue in Ontario anymore. So that's the part that we don't know. But also ability to travel from your point of view, from your own country point of view, because now we see that different countries and different regions have a different levels of opening or responding to pandemics. One important thing to consider also is availability of supporting technologies. Your access to personal computer or laptop or strong laptop or desktop that has ability and softwares to run that you need to use for your research, and reliable broadband internet access, because even though some part of your courses may be set up in a way that part of the course or part of the lectures you can do separately in your own time, there will be definitely parts where you need to participate in a real time, in order to join discussion with the professor, with other students, and so on. Graduate courses are not typically very large. Usually it's between 15, 20, 25 people. So, they're not huge groups, but, and it's a very good learning environment, both in person and could be remotely, because, such a relatively small number of students in the class allow for free discussion, asking questions, you know, and basically getting to know your colleagues, even and classmates, even online. And then the final thing is consideration of time difference. You know, many of you are living outside of Toronto and Ontario and living in other parts of the world. Some of you are 10, 12 hours time difference from Toronto. And although for some people this may not be a problem, for some others will be. So, you know, take that into account as well. So what else do you need? You need to basically stay tuned, stay informed, keep in contact with your graduate programs, and that is really, this message is for everyone, all the students, MEng, MArch, PhDs, MASc, MEIE, so keep in contact with your graduate programs. Keep in contact and discuss your options with your future supervisor. This is for research students, MASc and PhDs, because each case could be different, and the supervisor is the best person to know what is planned and how is it planned and how the work will be done. Stay tuned for the messages from FIAS Graduate Studies Office and Royal Reyes. You know, we'll be also announcing and communicate messages from Public Health Office, provincial and federal government that we all have to follow and obey. So we will know if there's any changes. And also for international students, keep in contact with international student support. Right after my presentation, there will be a portion from agent Emma Janikovsky, who will be talking about something that's very important and pertinent for international students. But so stay in touch with them, because they can provide you with the recent changes in immigration policy, statutes, and so on. Because, you know, because of the COVID pandemic, everything is changing from day to day. Finally, carefully think of various scenarios. You know, what it's going to mean for you if you choose either of these 5 options that I presented above, and take into consideration already discussed issues and those that I will keep presenting here. So take your time, make a decision. I know that these days you are getting also reminders to pay the deposit, and in normal times, you know, paying the deposit deadline is between June 1st and 15th. But these are not normal times, and we completely understand if you need a little bit more time to make your decision. So that's fine. The deposit, if you haven't not paid it yet, deposit as of last week is reduced by 50%. To really kind of help and demonstrate the goodwill, you know, as incoming students and new applicants. But if you pay already full price, don't worry. All of that is going towards your fall tuition, or the tuition in the term that you are starting your studies, whether it's going to be fall or winter. So it's not lost money. It's just, you know, basically securing your spot. As I mentioned, it's possible to extend the deadline for payment if you need a couple of more weeks, 2-3 weeks to think about it, what we present to you today, and your personal circumstances. And that's okay. So contact your program, and if you need extension, ask them, you know, and they will help you to do that. Don't just disappear. Really contact them. Let them know that you need a few more weeks, and that's fine. You know, just don't wait too long, because there's a whole bunch of other things that needs to be done after accepting the offer and paying a deposit. So don't wait too long, because it's going to be busy summer for everyone here. If you already paid your deposit and you're choosing option 1, meaning that you join us on remotely in the fall with the idea to come back in person in winter, great, thank you so much. No need to do anything else. Sit back. That money is going towards your fall tuition anyway, so you're not losing anything. The fact that you paid full price, that's okay. You're going to have less to pay in the fall. If you choose options 2, 3, or 4, so it's delay for winter, delay for summer, or deferral for the September next year, it's still not a problem. Inform your program as soon as you make a decision, and your deposit will be transferred towards the tuition of the term that you will be starting. So again, it's not lost money. It's going to be banked for you there, and it's going to wait for you. And finally, if you choose option 5 to decline, regrettably, deposits are not refundable in that particular case. But that was always the case, and it was presented from the start. So as I mentioned before, delaying the start, it's possible. Let your program know as soon as you decide, and they will cancel the existing offer and reissue the new one for the term that you want to delay for, and then you're going to have to accept that second offer. For international students, it's important to know also that you will need to revise or reapply for the new study permit, because study permit is really valid just for the term of when you're starting your studies. So in addition of informing your program, you have to probably do some work with the application for your study permit, and more about that will be talked about a little bit later in International Student Support Agent.